And so we've got our first presenter today, which is, who is Haley Westmoreland from the Honey Pot. And her fun fact is that she only has one dimple. She's like asymmetrical.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna share for everyone online. All right. Can y'all see okay? Can everyone hear me okay online too? Perfect. All right. Cool. Well, I'll get started. My name is Haley, and I actually came to 1 Million Cups about 3 years ago, for anyone that was here. So thank you for having me back. I'm here to just update you on what's happened and share the rest of my story. And I guess I'm just here for overall career advice, feedback, and just networking and getting to know the community. I don't have a company anymore, but I'm just going to share that journey of what happened and where I am now. So let's start with Meta Herbs. This is my company that I founded in college. I was in northern Thailand, met some amazing herbalists and started a company with them. I then imported and developed sales channels here in the United States and just helped build the brand. And the CSU Institute for Entrepreneurship, your new venue, was an amazing home for me that offered me so much support and networking and mentorship. And it's really just an amazing space for college students who are starting up a company. So I'm really excited for y'all that you're gonna be in that space because I think it'll help them too. So yeah, I no longer have that company. I left in 2019, just realizing that the model wasn't gonna work in the United States, but it's still, from what I know, still functioning back in Thailand. So that led me to Plantera Foods. I am a COVID grad, so I graduated in May of 2020, which was a terrifying time to jump into the real world. But I feel super lucky that I found a company called Plantera Foods. It's a plant-based protein company out of Lafayette. I was a really early hire, so I was pretty much just the leadership team, and then I was a really early hire off of that. My job was customer service, but really it was in operations, transportation, logistics, customer service, wherever they needed me. Yeah. And you know, I say it was like a startup on steroids. Our parent company is JBS, so we have some very deep pockets and scaled very quickly. An example of that is we built out an entire plant in Denver and developed sales channels like very quickly into main retail stores. So really amazing opportunity there. I eventually left Plantera Foods and I went and traveled, did the post-graduation thing once things opened up. And they asked me to come back to support the e-commerce channel. And so this was a huge opportunity for me. I had no idea how to do e-commerce, but they just said, go ahead, have fun, figure it out. Which was, yeah, it was awesome. But there was very little guidance in that. And you know, that was okay for me because I feel like I appreciated that startup mentality and just figuring it out. Went to trade shows, got into sales, got into marketing, all the things. But there's a point where I just felt something was a little bit off. And I was just listening to my intuition and feeling that it was kind of time to go. And at these trade shows, I met the Honey Pot. And that's the current company that I work at now. So I feel super lucky because about 2 weeks after I came over to the Honey Pot, Plantera's doors closed down and they shut the entire company down. Oh. So I feel super thankful I just listened to that intuition at that time, just knowing that, you know, I felt it was more of a risk to come to the Honey Pot than it was to stay there. So the Honey Pot, I've been here for about a month. It is a better for you feminine hygiene program or feminine hygiene CPG company. So we sell things like feminine washes, wipes, tampons, pads, menstrual cups. And, you know, this was my dream company that I really hoped to work for in college. It is Black and women owned, and I work with some amazing and very powerful women that I'm just really thankful to be learning from. And we have a big focus on education, breaking taboos, and anything that's vaginal wellness related. The brand, I'm on a marketing team, so we do a lot of branding, and it's super fast-paced, cheeky, and trendy, and very feminine, which was very much in opposition from the company that I was coming from. And the process has been very intense. I work on an e-commerce team now, and we have a thriving e-commerce store that moves very quickly, a lot higher volume, and it's just been an intense process to learn and just being thrown into it. But I'm still, an entrepreneur at heart. I always have some side gigs going on and just get really creative about other ways that I'm able to make money and just engage in the community. Part of that is I'm a dancer and I teach dance at Impulse Dance and Fitness for anyone that knows it. And on a dance crew called Foco Flava, if anyone's heard of it, we just throw a lot of events around town and do little dance gigs here and there. Also a lot of dog sitting. I'm like never in my home, always in someone else's house. And working remote allows me to do that. And also my partner and I have been exploring homeownership and learning how to be landlords and figuring out that side of the things. But through this, I've learned a lot about entrepreneurship, even though I'm not in a company anymore. But like through Meta Herbs, I just learned that I need to experience the world before I'm going to jump out and make it myself. I feel like being in college, I didn't know how the real world really works, and I needed to find that. Planterra taught me that I really enjoy working in startups, in these really chaotic environments, building out processes, and just being thrown into it and having to learn. It allows me to take ownership of my work within that company and have a lot of pride over that. And, after graduating during COVID, I think I decided that I want some security and stability right now. I don't think that'll be the case forever, but I think it just showed me that, the world could change at any moment. And right now I'm just choosing that stability working in a company. But I do have some ideas in the future of doing e-commerce consulting. So that looks like maybe working with smaller brands, helping them get started, and having more of that consulting platform to choose my work more freely. Okay, cool. And again, I'm just here for feedback, any general career advice for anyone that's been there, and just to connect, network. Thank you so much.
I was gonna say that I'm sure there's plenty of advice in this.
So Haley, you are great. You're a wonderful presenter. So, and I have to say, what you've experienced in, I'm gonna say 3 to 5 years roughly.
Mhm. Yeah.
I took 25 years. So kudos to you for learning all those things. The other thing I will say is with what you're talking about and all the lessons you learned, those are really powerful lessons that you can use because the world of work is very different post-COVID.
Totally.
You've been in the middle of it. We all have, but I think for folks who are still in the same kinds of roles they were beforehand, I don't think they truly understand that versus you've kind of been out there in the world experiencing it. So that's great that you got those lessons. And by the way, all those experiences you have will make you way more marketable. I think the thing that you pointed out that's really important that most people don't pay attention to is you listen to your intuition.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of people don't get that, but it's really, really important. So thank you for sharing. It was great.
Yeah, thank you. I think I've never worked in an office or worked in a pre-COVID lifestyle. So it is interesting how it's changed and I'll not know that side of it.
Right. And people don't understand you because they are coming in from the pre-COVID side. So there's a gap. And you just kind of need to be mindful of that
Yeah.
as you go out there. So
Yeah, thank you for that feedback.
I'll go.
Sure.
There's something with a presentation, just clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I stopped counting at 30 on ums.
Okay.
I mean, that's just one of the big side, so just work on the technique a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
But the
I
story
noticed
was
that
good.
too.
But I mean, just clean it up a little bit.
Thank you.
I think recognizing that you enjoy the startup space, hold on to that because you will get opportunities to join much larger companies, I'm sure. And it's not going to be what you enjoy. So the fact that you've got and it's, I started off in major corporations. And so I thought that was security was what I needed. But now I meet people who jump around from startup to startup and they just love it. So if you love the fast paced thing, keep it up.
Yeah, something. Yeah, thanks.
Also throw out the counterpoint of not counterpoint, I was of this, the concept of security. You don't ever confuse employment with security or stability. I mean, you're a living example. You said you left Planterra and 2 weeks later the company shut down. didn't exist.
Yeah.
Your flexibility and your experience and your willingness to do whatever is your stability and security. Like, don't ever confuse a paycheck for those things
Right.
because they're not.
Yeah, I like that reframing of it.
Yes, I totally second that because as you're talking about this, I actually just went back and revisited kind of my early 20s and through that. And same thing, like I was an actuary and I was told that actuaries never got laid off.
Bullshit.
I mean, either something's really wrong with me.
Well,
Actually, I got confirmation that nothing was wrong with me because 2 actuaries that I worked with confirmed my story 15 years later. I was like, okay. But I think Ben's absolutely right. And I loved your thought on the e-commerce consulting and not coaching, but consulting of like, I just come into your company and I help you set it up and then I leave and I go to the next company. I think that would be brilliant for you because to me, I'm like, wow, you started with a JVS funded company that you left at 23.
Yeah,
20,
22, 23. Yeah.
23, and that they asked you to come back, right? So like understanding now at this age, the value that you have, that you provide, that you bring, like, right? Like
Yeah.
understanding that you're bringing a lot of value. And I think that's probably going to be the most important piece.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I went to a like e-commerce event and I met someone that was like, we need a consultant in our company. We don't want to hire someone, but we want, like a lot of people don't want to hire full-time e-com. They just want the side help.
I would also say it's great that you have such a variety of experiences so early. Because as your life changes, it allows you to pivot and you've tried different things. So sometimes security, when you have family, maybe there's an illness, but it makes you adaptable. And I think everybody knows that at different stages in life, so we need different things. And you're setting yourself up nicely for that.
Thank you.
Peter, did you have something?
I just wanted to give her 2 big thumbs up for what you said about understanding her value.
I appreciate that.
I'm curious about when you decided that your startup was not what you were going to keep going with. What was the signs or the
Yeah.
indications for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we were based in Thailand and doing business in Thailand is very different than doing business in the United States. Thailand, you can open up the trunk of your car and sell things out of your car. And here, we were running into like, we need insurance and legal things and claims on pack. And my partners in Thailand just didn't understand why we needed that and weren't willing to help me pivot to be able to acquire those things. So that's when I realized, there's a cultural difference and cultural barrier that's not going to work this partnership.
Legal, medical, regulatory.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I used to work for a consumer product, OTC consumer products company. So.
yeah, totally. And we were doing like herbal supplements and herbal blends, and especially with supplements, there's a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah, great question. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, everyone. Appreciate the feedback.
Right, go ahead and grab your second cup of coffee.
Somewhere.
Yeah, you look familiar. Where you get the last
Hey,
name?
boy.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, you're doing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at the parkour.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. This is like Dookie Dances and Frozen Playbook.
Hey, I'm still employed. I missed it. I really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm healing up my foot currently.
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
oh yeah.
I'm gonna call Kate and
You're
say
still
it's
young.
time for
Oh,
Yeah, I'd love to get back into it.
massage.
Good.
Massage, little reggie
We
man.
have like a, I'm gonna say, I was like,
Yeah.
isn't that a Mickey person?
That is really nice.
Okay.
She does
Where
massage.
do you do it?
Well,
just doesn't
my house
advertise
works in a
Let's see
weird
everybody's
way,
got
so
their
it really
snow
does.
boots, traction shoes on.
Yes,
Be careful in the ice.
Yes.
Yeah, let's not talk about ice.
That's messed up. Like,
They are.
I'm still feeling it from when I
Yeah.
fell last year.
Yeah.
And then I came up here and did a presentation that day.
Was that some of the?
That was hands down my worst presentation of all time.
You're up, aren't you?
Huh?
Pretty simple.
How long is the honey pot if I'm up in a couple of weeks, that's fine. I got new-
So they're still new, but they're not really, see, I think that's interesting because I'm sort of like you, I like the startup culture, you know, and that kind of fast thing. And then when things start to develop to a certain point, then I get bored and it's time to find the next thing. Is, do you feel like that too? At some, like at some point, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, but I did find this company, they're about.
They're not full of out.
Yeah, there's definitely people that were, like, oh, the good old days and they're $10.
Right, right.
I don't know what that is.
It's like tight knit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a cool company though. I mean, that's, the mission is awesome, so.
Yeah,
it's good.
oh, yeah, that's awesome. This is Atlanta too, so I work.
Well, it's good to be involved in things that you actually care about,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, totally. So I do a lot of branding and that kind of thing. You know, it's like some jobs, it's like, okay, you know, I don't really care about what you're doing. I'll do a good job for you, but it's fun when you find those things that you're really into, you know, and keep them. That's great.
It's like, oh, we have extra time today. I should see my copy now.
And so do you go to Atlanta at all? Or-
Yeah, I've flown out once, but we're going about.
Yeah, cool.
It's a beautiful, like, another world.
Yeah, well, and I love those opportunities too, when you work for somebody who have that stability from a paycheck, because that is a little kind of stability, but you still are here most of the time, so you still have control over your life, which is awesome.
Yeah. Now that there's like remote opportunities, I'd be like,
New ideas, decided to
Yeah.
start sewing.
yeah. They both work remotely too, so.
What do you do? Oh, yeah.
I mean, thank you for the ideas.
I know. It's not the time.
So I think I went to the.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I know a couple.
Do you like it? I hear it's a good place to work.
Yeah, I did that and then.
It's like maybe not your life's dream, but good for now. Kind of thing.
And I take like the sleep.
Yeah, it's kind of- I'm still trying to decide what I want to be when I grow up. Yeah.
That's a little.
Well, I mean, it hasn't happened yet, so I mean, we'll see. I think I'm supposed to, but you know,
Somebody gives you feedback.
growing up is lame-o.
Hello, I'm Zach.
I'm loving this color, Dane. I love this color.
What kind of coffee is that?
Good color.
It's kind of thick.
It's not white. It's and it's better on the laptop. I just like that. Yeah. Nice color.
I go present and I entertain.
Yeah, I mean, not so much. I mean, I do kind of, I've been doing this for a long time, and my specialty is branding. That's what I like to do. I mean, I do everything from company names, logos, you know, marketing materials. I don't really, I mean, I used to do like marketing strategy and stuff, but yeah, kind of bores me, so. Like, I'm a designer at heart. Yeah, and I do photography as well, product photography. And I also own
Okay,
a part
let's
owner
get
of a couple of small product companies. I get my hand, it's kind of like you, I try and have my hand in half a dozen things at a time, you know, keep it all going.
Now I do other things.
Hey, Dane, I love that color. Thank you.
It's nice branding.
Awesome.
This guy's Dave.
Never seen
You guys are tired of hearing me speak yet. You better start signing up.
Oh,
That.
there you go.
That, right there. Yep, so.
You just said it. We're actually letting this guy talk.
He did say that,
What?
but he said we're actually.
How much did you pay now to get the spot?
That's the. Got the game with the scheduler.
So, yeah, you guys should
Keeps
always have a
volunteering.
presentation in your back pocket, otherwise you're gonna get like dated me all the time.
That's
Or just create one the day before.
There's that too. There's that too.
Oh,
So Dane's fun fact, I forgot, he changed it. Oh, yeah, Dane's fun fact was that his first business idea was to start a bakery, and it was called Herbish. Okay, maybe,
H is
maybe,
silent,
maybe.
Herbish.
I was just going.
Herbish.
I was just like.
Sounds like that.
I was cooking challah and ciabatta and everything. I was a really big bread baker in college. That hobby kind of disappeared. But maybe I'll bring back the coffee.
I was gonna
bread.
I'd
say,
say
yeah.
I'd be all right.
Also, my
Maybe
wife
it's
doesn't
done.
eat a whole lot of bread, so it didn't really
Go
help
anywhere.
having loaves of bread always around the house. Anyway, today is a little bit different. I want to present an idea for a presentation that I'm considering for Founded in FOCO. So your feedback around, is this a good topic for that audience? And then also structure. So today I'm going to talk about my solopreneur journey and how it's never really solo, as I've been building Rev Zero, really focusing on it over the past 2 years, as you all have witnessed. So again, the ask is content feedback on the presentation for Founded in FOCO. And perhaps it's the Thanksgiving season that has got me all sentimental, but I started reflecting on all the people that have played a major role in helping me and moving this along, and what I've learned from them along the way. And hopefully it provides a little bit of something for you as well. This is. This is the presentation. Over 2 years, I have gone from roasting coffee late at night while finishing grad school and starting a consulting business to being flown out around the states to give presentations on change management and the corporate planning and strategic planning and coaching technical experts. So yeah, I don't sit in that chair much anymore. My garage is a little cleaner. But it's also the story. So it's a thank you to everyone who's helped me in this transition, but it's also a story of how getting glasses changed my life. But before I get into that, it's very easy. I've been sitting in those chairs for years watching presentations, and it's so easy to fall into the trap of, man, they're lucky, right? They just met the right person at the right time. They did the right thing. There's luck. And I've learned that luck is when an opportunity arises, you're prepared to take advantage of it. Sorry, my notes are on my phone. All right, so I am an Eagle Scout. I am always prepared. I am prepared for camping, just as I am prepared in business, as I am prepared in life. And I don't know how it happened, but in 2016, I decided to file for an LLC. I was still working. I still had my engineering job, but I filed the LLC, and not 3 months later, my dad called. He was like, hey, I want to start a business. I need your help getting it off the ground. I said, this is the opportunity I needed. I needed someone to say, hey, I need your help, and I'm willing to pay you for it. I said, great, I will help you build your business as I build mine. So I consulted to him through Rev Zero. And throughout this journey, you know, it's gone from one gig to the next. You get a job, you focus on the job, and then you don't have another one lined up. Boom, bust, right? And that's where I was at in all of this. And I was treating my solopreneurship like a job. And I coach technical experts, and I tell them, all right, we're going to focus 80% on improving your performance in your job and 20% preparing you for the next step. For a solopreneur journey, I had to flip that script, and it took me a long time to do that, which is I need to be preparing 80% for the next thing and focusing 20% of my efforts on the job I have now. So I would get a contract for a few months. I'd put all my energy to it, and it would end as it was scheduled to end, as I knew it was going to. And I'd be sitting there twiddling my thumbs, like, what's next? Who's going to call me? And I hadn't prepared any opportunities. And I learned that there was something I could do to change the opportunity side of the equation. And what I started doing was I started talking about my work a lot more. I just talked to everybody about what I was doing. I presented here a lot more. I did Toastmasters. I talked about it there. I talked about it with friends and family at church, everywhere I could. And you have seen me narrow my focus over the past 2 years. Before, 2 years ago, I was a consultant on organizational change management, project management, and I also coach leaders, right? And I narrowed my focus to, I coach engineers turned managers. Had to bring that very narrowly. And what's happened is when I said I did everything, no one hired me to do anything. But when I said I do this thing, they started asking me to do more and more and more. And I could say yes or no. Building relationships, not chasing clients. The referral network has been so powerful when they don't feel pressure that I'm trying to sell to them. I've also been working with Allison Profit, who's phenomenal in this. And it just got me much more authentic in relationship building and like people, right? And people have played a huge role in this. Pomodoro, this is a post-it note I have on my desk. If you don't know what Pomodoro method is, it's where you just set a timer and you focus on one thing for 15 minutes. And then when timer is over, you stop that task and work on something else. I don't do it religiously, hardly ever do it, but it works sometimes, and that's what I need. I need it to work sometimes. So finding work processes that work for you and getting rid of the rest. And then taking care of myself. One of the first things I did after I left my job was I joined a yoga gym, and I had never done yoga in my life. And I'd never had a rhythm of exercise that I've ever fallen into. And now 5 years later, I've gone to over 500 classes. Like, it's just stuck. So find the thing that allows you to take care of your mind, your body, and disconnect completely. Because as a solopreneur, you're always in it, right? It's your life. All right, the people. As I was thinking about this, there's a lot of your names on the screen, and I could have put all your names on the screen, but it started to read like a credit roll of a movie, right? There are so many people that I haven't hired. They're not employees of Rev Zero, but they've played a significant role. And you've got these people in your life too. You've got the fans, the people who for some reason just want you to succeed. I don't understand it. They're just rooting for you. And then the early adopters, the early clients, the people who said, yeah, I don't care that you've never done this before. I'll pay you to do it. That blows my mind. Wes Martin, he and I we were in grad school together, but we never talked in grad school. It was all online. We were on discussion boards together. He got a job later, and he remembered reading my posts about my work. I was talking about my work, my background, and he called me up and said, I have an opportunity. I need you to come into this engineering firm because none of us are technical experts. And I need you to lead them through a strategic planning workshop. He has brought me so much work. And my wife has a thing that when Wes calls, the answer is yes. Like, he's just great. The helpers, this is the area where I should have done something sooner, hiring helpers. Josh Zeppes, he presented here like 2 years ago, and his question that he opened his presentation with was, do you hate the question, so what do you do? Yes, I hate that. I never know what to say. So I paid him, and he helped me figure that out. And it was the best money I ever spent. And then Chris, we were working on some 1 million cup stuff, and I needed a flyer for 1 million cups. Right? I had an idea, and I just put it down in a sentence. And 30 minutes later, he sent over this flyer. And it's like, it's brilliant. Will you do something for Rev Zero? Hiring a VA, Brian Hannings helped me with trademarks, Allison Profit coaching. I'm a coach, and it took me 2 years to hire a coach for myself. I know the value of a coach, and man, that was the breakthrough. Enablers, people who just say the right thing at just the right time. You're like, that's what I needed. Mentors, and I know I'm way over time, but I'm taking my time. Ariana, some of you know her. I've had coffee with her one time. And we got together. I was so stressed out about that boom bust cycle. I just come off of a gig and I had no idea what was coming next. And I said yes to coffee with her. And we just sat out at Wolverine Farms, drinking coffee, enjoying the sun. And she helped me see that things were happening even when I wasn't pushing them. And that I needed to step back and just relax for a second. So I did. I took a breath right there and was like, man, this feels good. I'm ready for a few days of relaxation. I get back to my office and there's an email waiting for me. There's the next gig right there. I don't know. I don't understand.
Of course, I've gotten bad advice over the years, as you all have. as well. The worst thing that people told me was be patient. And that, I hated that one, right? I wanted to know, and what I needed to hear was, what do I do next? To your presentation a few weeks or a few months ago. And so taking that bad advice and finding the perspective in it, because there's always something you can glean from it. It took me a long time to get past the fact that they gave me bad advice to what are they telling me? And it was figure out what you're going to work on while you're waiting for that thing to happen. Productive procrastination is what I call it. After my first 1 million cups presentation, someone came up to me and said, "Can you grow a beard?" No, I can't. It is a genetic predisposition. This is the best I can do. But I can get classes. But the perspective there was I was coming off as inauthentic. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I was presenting, I was rigid. I wasn't me. And it's taken me a long time to get comfortable with that. Wearing what I want, getting glasses. Turns out I actually needed them. So that was good. And giving a shot. So that has been my solopreneur journey, and I wanted to just open it up for feedback, whether this is something that would be good for Founded in FOCO, and also for you to reflect on what's your next move. And while we have that discussion, I will leave you with a visual representation of my solopreneur journey. See, oh, there we go. All right. Now we can have discussion.
Are those pivots that you're taking off? Stairwell? Beautiful.
All right, feedback. Does this fit Founded in FOCO?
Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
Sorry, you just,
I know, I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
you just keep fascinated at the video. and you're like,
Okay, Peter, Ben, Charles. Beth, oh yeah, you.
Don't worry.
So, great presentation, and I think it would be beautiful for Founded in FOCO. And I think, is it part of the solopreneurship day?
Well, I was actually gonna say, I happen to know somebody who somehow ended up as the solopreneur track leader.
Is that you?
Yes.
I don't know how
I
that
didn't know
even
that when I
happened.
named
I noticed that my name was a little bigger and I was like, he's just.
Yeah. So yes, I think it would be great. And the one thing, and this is just feedback, and this is just based on my own experience, is the slide you have that says luck equals preparation and opportunity. I would take it one step further and I would say it's intention that creates the opportunity. And the reason I say that is because, and this is what you do, an amazing job, is you're thinking about what you want to do. And that's what's really, really powerful. And a lot of people don't realize it. But I think it's particularly important for entrepreneurs, but even more so for solopreneurs, because it's you. You have to kind of create your opportunities. And that's what goes directly into helping you manage, I'll say, the boom bust cycle you had there. Because if you're thinking about what you want, that email showed up, and that's the manifestation of you creating that opportunity for yourself. So I think I would tweak that slide a little bit, because I think people have much more impact, or can have much more impact over what they want, but they have to be intentional about doing that. So that's the piece I would just add to that. But I love the final slide there. That was great.
So I love the woo-woo stuff, but if I actually ground her woo-woo of like the manifestation piece, it's because you're talking about it. That's your intention, and talking about it is creating the opportunities.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Providing
yes.
an opportunity for opportunities to occur.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
But if you don't know what you want, that's never going to happen. So that's why you have to answer that question at the very, very beginning. So.
If we watch this again, we're not gonna listen
Okay.
to you.
Turned off the music. That makes it even better. So, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Denny, I
watch
see
this.
you online too. Okay, but I got 3 more in here before I get to you, Denny. All right.
Can
You,
I go now?
you,
Are you sure?
you,
All right.
go. Faster.
So I think this is a recent, like you said, you put it together like a night ago for,
I asked Dale on Monday, I was like, what should I present?
Not as bad. I think what I'd like to see is for me, it was a great story, a great conversation piece, and I think there's topic value here. But the story arc is not there for me right now. Like you start out with, I think your opening slide is solopreneurship is never alone or something like that. And it took you like 5 to 6 minutes and before you even touched on anything about how these other people were helping you out.
Okay.
So like you spent the first 5 minutes talking about your story, which is a good story, but it was disconnected for me from the opening slide. So figure out what you want to talk about, whether it's your own journey, which for me, most of your presentation aligned with that last clip where you talked about, you know, the falling off and like the bouncing back and that's a great story, but it didn't resonate with your opening slide. So figure out what your story arc is and then build around that arc.
Yeah, great presentation. I also joined the yoga studio in my journey here. Same thing essentially is like the story arc. I thought that the creating opportunity slide was like 6 slides in one, that each had like really interesting nuggets. I think you could also like just put a picture of you like in your garage and then the story of like, I finally went to coffee and found this person who manifested this thing. So yeah, similar thing, just kind of like break out the story a little bit.
Okay, cool.
And I would maybe like hide the creating opportunity stuff if you're doing the not alone.
Said hide it.
Not hide it, but just move it to the, like rearrange it a little bit.
Okay.
Or feel free to like expand on that.
Thanks.
Peter.
Yeah, well, Found and Focus, you'll have a half hour or so, an hour to
Yeah.
talk about this, so lots of time. But I think the way that you caught our attention, my attention, was your authenticity in the beginning. So don't lose that, because
There's the glasses, wasn't it?
it just draws us in, right? Because you're self-deprecating, you're chit-chatting a little bit. It felt light and easy to want to listen to what you said, and then everything that Ben said as well, the story of the art. But catch us in the beginning with who you are.
Thanks.
Denny, then James.
Yeah, well, Dane, been with 1 Million Cups for a long time, and I remember one of the first few times you presented, and compared to that time, I really see you comfortable with your own skin, and that really came out at the beginning of the presentation. So I think your message is good, and just comparing the way you used to be presenting and the way you're presenting today, I think it's just night and day. So it's great to see, you know, people kind of change and be comfortable with themselves. I think that was great. You did kind of got technical or more wordy. It's middle to later part. So I know, I think you have a message to tell, and I think you want to tell a lot. And I think you kind of started to pack more and more. And I'm a scientist, so I do have a tendency to be more descriptive and more wordy than necessary. And that is different from the skill to tell the story. If you're on the storytelling mode, that's a very different way to communicate than technical ways you communicate with, you know, all the details about, like, you know, how to roast coffee at what temperature for how long and that kind of stuff. So I think it's good for you to kind of be very aware of 2 different tasks you're trying to achieve. But other than that, I thought it was great. I wanted to say this when Haley, I think the previous presenter, was presenting. There's research on this. What do you think is the most successful age for entrepreneur to start business?
60.
Yeah.
How old are you, Peter?
So I'm about 150. So some people know, but I think research actually shows that it's like 42 to 45, like mid to late 40s, successful. So I don't know how old you are, Dane, but just, I wanted to say this was Haley too, is that I think young people who are starting business, I think it's okay to try and then learn the business and come back to entrepreneurship. And I think you have done big company and you're doing on your own, and doing it later, outside of 20s, I think it's okay. And I think it's actually statistically most successful. So great job. Great to see your progress. And I'm happy to see all that through 1 million cups.
Thanks, Danny.
Well,
James?
You go, so that you.
He knows.
It'll be interesting to see how you go from 5 or 6 or 7 minutes to 20. So you've got a lot of time to expand, which is great. I think the essence of what you got here is really valuable. I did what you're talking about for 23 years, and I lost my mind at one point and grew my firm to 17 people. But after that, just went back to keeping it small. That said, as far as the presentation, I think a summary at the end with takeaways is always a good thing. And these would be my examples, but how they apply to you, I don't know. Number one is if you need a marketing plan, you're doing something wrong. The point that you made about doing one thing and build to everything is great. I personally started with Apple doing the Cupertino campus. I had one project. I ended up with over 70. Have as few clients as possible and do as much work for them as possible. And get used to this idea that the work will come. There's nothing that you can do to force it. It just comes when it comes. And took me a long time to get used to that because I freaked out every time I didn't know what the next thing was.
All right, so I kind of forgot that Dane took a few extra minutes, so we're over time. So you're gonna have to talk to Dane afterwards, and I will too. I will talk to him afterwards too. So thank you, Dane. Filling in last minute. If anybody else wants to be a last minute person, email Natalie and let her know that you're willing to be a filler inner for somebody who doesn't show up, because we always need those people. On that note, yeah, no, that's what I said too. I was like, I'll practice speaking off the cuff about what I do. On that note, we're already, we're good for December unless somebody backs out. So again, if you want to be a last minute presenter, let Natalie know. But yes, we are now booking into January. So if you want to present, and again, we'll be at CSU, not here. But who has a win? Who has a resource that we need to know about, or who needs help?
I'll keep talking. So Peter and Beth weren't here a few weeks ago when I shared that someone reached out to me on Maine. And I thought it was just going to be a coffee conversation, and
They weren't here that day?
they were not.
They were
here
not.
that day.
That's why you guys used a fake story. Oh.
What?
They used a fake story. Yeah.
So anyway, so he reached out, and that 15-minute conversation where I almost showed up wearing a beanie because I thought it was just coffee. He was like, yeah, I want you to coach me. And so he turned into a paying client this week. So thank you.
Why did you guys just use Dave? Okay.
I tried to get them to, but it was too late. They already like prepared, so
Yeah,
they couldn't
it's
change
true.
the
It was
presentation.
the day before. It's true.
Nope, I'm just.
This is an auction, and if you raise your hand, you're fine.
Sold.
I had a request for help. What's my request for help? My request for help is what group could you introduce me to or recommend to me? Because I would like to get going in January of like how to help people make more money keep more money, grow more money, give more money in 2023. So I'd like some speaking opportunities. Generally in the service-based entrepreneurs, but it doesn't have to be because this is actually a little bit more generic than I normally do. So if you know of anybody that has a group that would like a speaker, please let me know.
Make a suggestion.
Yeah, we can talk afterwards.
Okay.
This is a request for help as well. Floyd and our dance group, we're looking to start a nonprofit, and we're in the formation process right now. I'm just looking for any advisors or people to support and help.
Founded in FOCO, March 1st through the 3rd, we'll have a nonprofit track.
Okay, oh, cool.
And Kim.
Kim.
Alex,
Kim
yeah,
and
Alex,
Alex.
Kim, what's her last name?
Fisher.
Fisher.
Kim Fisher.
The all
Alex.
There's some guy who
She's running.
showed up a couple times. He does
Yeah,
nonprofit
it's
startups. Alex?
Alex.
Oh, yeah, he writes grants.
He also does a lot of
Formation.
nonprofit stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex something.
Alex,
Okay,
I'm sure you'll find him.
thank you.
We'll tell you
Put it
about
on
it.
name, we'll get-
Okay. sounds good.
Yes, but Kim Fisher,
Okay.
for sure. Other wins, other resources that we need to know about, other requests for help? Okay, Peter's giving me the wrap up because it's 9:58. Nobody else? Resource going once? Going twice? Wins? Request for help?
Good.
So,
Not really.
Yeah,
It's-
it's
like a-
It's that glitch, yeah.
thank
Alex Conenberg.
thank you.
Alex
Thank you.
There's his phone number right there.
Can I just take a picture of this? I'll be like, who are you?